Hello. I am Adam of Geekheim, and that guy over there is...
I'm Mike Dixon of Simply Your Device.
Yeah, and look at this. We're starting our usual Threatened Ganglia stream a little early today. I've got to click on something. What did I... Oh, that's right. I had to change the scene transitions to full. Aha. All right. So, hello, everyone. We're starting a little early today because my brother decided to bookend this season. Because if you remember, way back episode 1, he had some questions as to what's going on. So this is a very cool concept that he's coming on now to pepper me with questions about the finale and maybe overall questions about the season. So if you too were left a little questioning, pop into the chat and let me know what's what and who's for, and that you can hear us and see us effectively. Anyway,
and I'll point out though too, it catch the replay, or we got to get the word out there on the replay, and leave comments down below in the doobly doo, as sometimes known as.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, Wheezy Waiter.
Okay.
He that's the streamer that started that.
Okay,
I enjoy it. All right, so question time, and this whole first hour is all about you, brother, or at least until my lovely wife comes in. Ha.
Okay. See, I went back in the old days and wrote down on paper.
That's just because you can't figure out Google Docs without my help. So
a little bit of that too. So my questions are not all pertaining to last week's show, but I kind of some of the the week before and all that stuff. So let me just start off with, and this is a question for you, bro.
Yeah.
And on the week before, the part 1, I guess.
Part 1 of the two-parter, yes.
Parter, yes. When Michael was on the deck and they were shooting photon torpedoes at timestamp 9:45 to 9:59.
You can't come to me with timestamps unless you're going to be able to throw up clips. Come on, man. Well, I mean, when they're on board the Enterprise?
They were on board the Enterprise. They were shooting after the failed attempt at destroying the Enterprise. Did you happen to take notice when Michael Byrne was having that look, like looking at did you notice the crew member walk backwards behind her?
Well, you did notice that part of that happened twice, right?
No, I did not catch it twice.
Yeah, well, they were about to, it ran through. They tried to do the self-destruct. That didn't work. They fired 2 photon torpedoes. That didn't work. They fired a single one. And then she had her time crystal moment. And then they came back into that scene, and she said, and you could hear them saying the self-destruct didn't work. And then you hear Pike saying armed photon torpedoes, and that's when she says no real loud, or stop.
Right.
Yeah.
So the second time somebody walked behind her backwards?
Well, that's to show you that the time crystal was helping her out, running stuff backwards, letting her know that, hey, this isn't the way this is supposed to happen.
All right. Okay. So I didn't know that.
So no, I didn't notice that, but now I will go back. But I did notice the thing the writers were trying to make plain.
Well, between 9:45 and 9:59.
Okay.
I just wanted to put that out. I was all proud of myself. You know how many times I played that back to make sure I saw that right? About 3 or 4 times.
Twice?
Why did they name a princess off? That sounded like a Hawaiian name.
Well, she wasn't a princess. She was the queen. Let's give her the credit that she's due.
And I thought it was a princess. I will check and see.
No, it was 100% a queen, because that was the whole point of the Short Treks episode, that she was supposed to go back and take on the queendom. Well, I mean, yes, it did definitely sound Polynesian in some way, and I don't know. That's just what they wanted to do. She looked Polynesian-ish.
If they can get Klingons words, why can't we get something other than some Hawaiian name?
Well, what's the matter with Hawaiian names? There aren't any other Hawaiian names.
There's nothing wrong with Hawaiian names, but
it's something different, and it's not really a Hawaiian name because they're just like a whole different alien species. So
I was just being silly, but
you are
very, very Hawaiian. That's all. Nothing wrong with Hawaiians. Don't get me wrong. All I'm just saying is we got.
I like Spam.
Klingons that comes to mind. Vulcan. We have all this other creatures with other languages.
Right.
So writers, come up with something a little bit more neat. There we go.
I don't know why.
I'm going even going further back. This is a question I had for you a while back, and
in the original series episode, season 3, episode 1, at timestamp 25 minutes, 14 seconds.
No, I don't have that, smarty pants.
All right,
but in the episode where they caught Michael's mom, and contained her in that field, and then they decided they had to let somehow they were trying to let her go for what reason again? I'm sorry.
Well,
why were they going to like let her?
Well, they were letting her go because the universe was pulling back on her stronger and stronger every time. So they weren't able to keep her there no matter what. And there was a cyborg dude there with a gun shooting at her. And they didn't want her to die.
Has an effect. What became of Michael's mom? What was the outcome of that? Where's Michael's mom right now?
Well, I mean, we don't know for sure. We're hoping that she's there in the future to meet up with Michael and the Discovery on the other side of the wormhole. But I mean, she could theoretically be anywhere, because who knows what goes on when she tries to travel through that wormhole with not in her suit. And the fact that the suit was destroyed and maybe it won't snap back to the same exact spot. So she's lost in time and space. That's what I'm saying for now. Until the start of next season. Okay.
We're going to visit Michael's mom again.
Ooh.
Let's see. I found
oh boy,
a play on words. I found the word time is kicked around a lot. Generally, I need more time when they're in a critical situation.
Well, yeah, but that's a standard thing, isn't it?
But it's just funny because they got to jump into the future or jump in the past and dealing with time, and everybody's having like those moments as, of course, the standard word is saying, "Give me more time." Yeah. So I just thought it was funny.
Okay.
I need more time. I'm like going, "You're going to go get it. Just get that suit on and go and get it."
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a big thing to use to just get some food done quicker or something.
Yeah. I just was a play on words. That's all.
Isagud.
Now, if I understand, there were 7 signs, right? 7.
She saw 7 signs. Yes.
Okay. Why did Michael Burnham go to only 5?
Well,
is Michael Burnham the cause of the 7 signs?
Yes, she was the cause of the 7 signs. She did the 5 because those 5 big thing to use. Whoa, hey now. Those 5 were the ones that she needed to do to gather up all the different things that needed to be done. So she did those 5 there with Spock right there. The 6th signal was her leading the Discovery through the wormhole. And the 7th signal was the one that she sent at the end of the episode for Spock, so that was her way of telling him that, hey, we arrived here and we lived. We didn't get torn up by the wormhole and things are okay.
But didn't they see the 7 signals in the beginning of the series?
Yeah, that's the first thing she did. She sent all of them to at that time and place there just to get everyone's attention.
Actually, no, not her. Her brother. Didn't her brother discover him and made him kind of crazy?
Well, he had some kind of weird time flashback stuff of seeing the 7 signals. But at the beginning of this season, why Pike got involved in everything was that those signals she somehow showed them to everyone. All right, so she put the 7 signals out there for everyone to see at the beginning of season 2, so that everyone could see them. But but given the fact that Spock's brain was all turned to mushy stuff, somehow that knowledge propagated through to him earlier when he first saw the Michelle Burnham, I think it was Gabrielle Burnham, go back in time and have him save what's her name? Michael.
Okay.
Yes.
So now we're going to go back to Michael. Wait a minute. See, this is where it gets.
Oh, by the way, just 1 second. For anyone watching, this is just what I think the proper answers are. I'm not saying it's 100% true. I don't have any intimate knowledge of the show writers or anything, so take it all with a grain of salt. Sorry, proceed.
But I will say though, your theories make you go, okay, that makes sense, because I can't wrap my head around it saying these things. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm here to do, brother. Just to hit you with these questions and make sense of this stuff.
All good.
So wait a minute.
Yes.
The mother creates the suit. Her whole objective was to create the suit to go in time to
just generally time travel and investigate the fact that she thought that all the different leaps in technology that happened throughout different societies were due to time travelers, which is one of the themes that ran through near the end of the Voyager series. They dealt with a time traveler bouncing around and dropping off and getting different technologies. So it's something that Star Trek has done before. So, and they were doing it on behalf of like Section 31 to try and make sure that no one was cheating and doing things that they shouldn't have been doing. And
but in that moment in time when they were under attack by the Klingons, right? She got in the suit to escape.
Right. Her intention was to go back, I think it was like an hour, and warn them and like, you know, get some Section 31 ships there and maybe just like pack up and leave.
Okay.
But
she was using the time to her advantage.
She was trying to.
Okay. So that didn't work out. Then all of a sudden she realized she was sort of bouncing around in the future a lot. She never went back. She always seemed to progress forward. Did I understand that?
Well, she went, and when she did that leap that she was hoping was an hour into the past, it was really 950 years into the future. And every other leap that she did, she wasn't able to stay somewhere for a super extended period of time. She was able to travel back to the past, but there was always that rubber band effect that they never explained why this happened. There was no explanation, no even attempt.
She kept on getting pulled back.
She kept getting pulled back to that time in the future when she first arrived.
So it was truly an anchor point. Right. I heard that word kicked around. Yeah. So she could never unanchor herself.
Correct. She could never figure out a way to do that, and she could never figure out a way to be control until this time. And technically, it was her daughter that did it.
Technically, her daughter did.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, she helped by getting the sphere data into the path of her daughter, so she could defend it.
Right, and the mother revealed that she was not the signals that they were looking for.
Correct, because it was Michael that was sending the signals.
Okay. And did the mother ever reveal that?
That it was Michael sending the signals?
No, did the mother ever reveal that it wasn't me?
Yeah. Are you sure you watched all the episodes?
Well, I watched them all, but I'm just.
There was a part where she plainly said, "I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't send any signals."
I kind of remember that. Yes, I kind of remember that now. Okay. But I'm just trying to weave in now this notes. Okay. Back to the time thing.
No problem.
So the whole thing was, it was Michael Byrne the whole time with the 7 signals.
Right.
Check. And then what was the whole point in the show that she went to do 5 of them? She went back in time to do 5. What was the point of
all right, the point of all that was, I believe, that they got to the point in the show when she was trying to open a wormhole near the very end of the finale. She was trying to open the wormhole to the future, and it wouldn't open. The time crystal.
I remember her saying she couldn't go forward.
Right, she couldn't go forward. And the time crystal was the time crystal's way of being like, hey, you still have some stuff in the here and now to do. And so she finally put it together that it's not in the future that she ends up going back to send those signals. It was right there in that moment that she needed to go back and send those signals, because it's what she had been doing, and she had been like building up to this through different iterations. And she finally figured out the 5 things she needed to do in order to save all the right people and get all the right people onto the ship and get the time crystal onto the ship and everything. So then she took that moment to go back in time and do those previous 5 things
Okay.
that happened. So then when she came back, the time crystal was like, okay, you have all the pieces you need. Then it gave her access to being able to go to
Even
the
though
future.
she experienced those 5.
Yeah, but she hadn't done it yet. Time travel.
Really?
Yeah.
But there's that
She
one scene
experienced
where
them.
she's impaled. Wait a minute. She's impaled with that thing sticking out her leg after having whatever. Okay.
Right.
And she sees the red angel. She's one of the witnesses. So is Saru. Is that his name, right?
Yes, Saru.
The guy that you like, right?
Is that his name? How dare you? Out of this pod.
I did what?
How dare you? Is that his name, Saru?
I'm
Get out.
No, not yet. Let me give me my hour in. Anyway, so why did she recognize herself in that when she was there impaled at that moment? Well, earlier on in the episode,
because she couldn't see that it was her. Like she couldn't. She was far enough away, and there was all the tachyon radiation or whatever and stuff, and she just couldn't see it clearly. And Saru, even with his
red dye number 7, that's what it was. I'm telling you, red dye number 7.
Well, it could be. Maybe that's what lets you do time travel. Maybe that's why they're banning it everywhere.
That's why they probably banned it. So
yeah.
Anyway,
I didn't think about that.
So I get what you're saying about the 5. So the whole thing is, wait a minute. Yeah, you just mentioned something that was interesting. So the time crystal said, well, wait a minute, you can't go into the future until you take care of what was in the past.
Right.
Right. So you said the time crystal knew this. So is the time crystal really an entity, like a being?
12? That's my answer when I don't have an answer.
See, I'm just coming up with this all kinds of wacky good stuff.
That has been something that I've been wondering if it's like an entity or if it just knows the different possibilities, because like with Pike taking the time crystal, he effectively what I believe is just destroyed all the other timelines that would end with his life ending any differently. So any other possible future that exists, he always ends up in that chair, and he always ends up going back to Talos.
Okay. Is there a tie-in with Pike in that moment where he's talk about the chair? I'm just not even on my notes. That is there going to be a tie-in where Pike is really sitting in that chair eventually? Where he's like there's only half of him, and you see his face melted.
Yeah, that's from the original series.
I understand that, but I'm saying is being time's all screwed up here.
No, time's not screwed up. Time's exactly the way it should be, according to canon. For all those people that have a problem with that.
I take it that's the writer.
Huh? No, canon. It's canon is a phrase used in like it means the established history. It's canonical. Canonical is the word for it. The established history of a TV show or movies.
Oh, okay.
So like it's canon that Bruce Banner turns into the Incredible Hulk. You couldn't do a movie where Tony Stark turns into the Incredible Hulk. That would be against canon. And that was one of the complaints that a lot of people had about Discovery. Definitely more so in the first season, that it had all this more advanced technology and the spore drive. Who the hell ever heard of the spore drive? And this, that, and the other thing that were not established parts of Star Trek lore.
Now, did you see that video? Did I send you a video about the?
You sent me the video. I didn't watch it because I from the title of it was something like the Borg will save the timeline.
No, not that one. No, I don't think that one.
All right,
there was another one I thought I saw. I have to go find it and
there's
see
many
if
of
I
them.
sent it to you.
What was it about?
It dealt with the writer talking about making the changes to season 2. I have to go see how old it is. I thought I sent it to you in YouTube at least, saying Adam, check it out or something like that.
I don't look at those things.
Oh, thanks.
Those things are beneath me. Well, it's just YouTube things. Like I get so many notifications that come through. Then, like one day I log in, there's 38 notifications. I'm like, I can't be bothered. Because most of the time they're all videos.
Your brother send you stuff.
Yeah, but don't use that format. Pick one of these 15 formats you got where you send me messages and stick with it. Use Discord like the good people.
Fine.
Thank you.
fine.
Well, no, honestly though, the YouTube thing, that's not a good way to send it, because honestly that gets jumbled with all the video stuff. You send it to me in any other thing where I'm gonna get a notification of it, then I'll definitely check it out. I didn't mean send it right now in the middle of the show.
Well, I was just curious now what was the exact title. But did you see you got a comment in there?
Yes, I did just see that. Hey, Kevin, how's it going?
Go reply to Kevin. I'm curious what
there really is no reason that Burnham couldn't go forward in time before she went back unless the suit is alive. That is true. Well, I don't know about the suit. I think it's the time crystal, because like I think the suit just lets her interact with the crystal and use the crystal. I think the crystal is the main thing that does it. And yeah, I think there's some kind, hopefully they're making it be that there's some kind of sentience to the time crystal, which I'm cool with. And I'm more cool with that than just hand waving and not having a reason for it. I'd much rather there be a defined reason for stuff to go on. Can you do me a huge favor and grab my purple notebook that's on the ladder bookshelves in the playroom? We're about to be joined by my lovely wife early today. That's cool with you, right, brother?
But anyway, there's so much to do. I have to find it, because it was the director's talking, or the director or the people or writer or somebody was basically saying, yeah, we're going to make some changes.
Oh, so, yeah. That was them talking about how the show was going to come more and more into canon, be canonical.
There's that word again.
Yeah. Just a couple seconds and you'll be on, but your mic is live, my dear.
I understand. The word canonical comes from the Catholic Church, because they were the ones who decided what was part of the... Hi. I'm over there now. Hey.
Hi, Chris. How you doing?
Wait. You don't say hi when you first come on.
Hello!
There we go. We've got Kevin in the room. Say hi.
Hi, Kevin. Kevin! The church decided what was part of the liturgy or what was canonical, and that's where the word came from. And now geeks use it to decide what should be in the universe of a story and what shouldn't be, because we like to do that.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Ha ha.
Ha ha. And Star Trek has been playing around with its canon, in the last 10-ish years. And,
definitely with the
Kelvin timeline. Yeah. And I'm down for it. I'm down for it if you tell me, like, okay, so this thing went back in time here and then it changed it and we have a different timeline. Okay, that's fine. I'll watch that. I like that Discovery has...
You want to pull that mic stand down a little bit? Like,
oh, so it's not in my face?
Yeah, so everyone can see your pretty face. My Catholic choir boy heart just soared. Hey, you made Kevin's day.
No problem. I have a lot of knowledge in my head that is just spread all over the place, and it's like, oh, I know this little bit. Let me share it.
It made me so happy she was watching the show when she wasn't on, or maybe she was just hearing.
I could hear you through the ceiling, for the floor.
Oh,
I was sitting up in our bedroom, and I was like, oh, I could hear that.
It's like, she's like, do I have to go down there?
No, I was like, I gotta go down there. I know what that word means.
I can add to this discussion.
I gotta get in there. And I'm down for their obvious tie-ins to say Discovery is part of this timeline and is part of this canon. And I mean, to go so far as to, in the beginning of one of the episodes, show us scenes from the original series.
Are we going to bust on my brother now for not realizing that that's really what they were doing in that episode?
I can't know if I can bust on him because I was so disappointed.
That was a great look of disgust you had there, brother.
On me? Wait a minute. I thought they were just honoring
they were trying to demonstrate that this is the exact same timeline as that, and all those things that happened there happened for the Discovery universe.
Yeah, happened to our Captain Pike.
All right,
yes.
All right. This is where you two come in. That's all I got to say.
Good. That's why we're here to help.
Pick up the phone or have the live stream and get my questions answered. How's that?
Well, we're nerds. We're here to help.
I got my notebook here. Okay.
We are the Geek Squad.
Yeah, nice.
Of Star Trek here.
Nice. I like it. I like it a lot.
I remember the one stream him and I did. I had notes. I written out notes. He was freaking out. What are you doing writing down notes?
Yeah,
So.
writing them down in the digital age that we have, and he is a technology show.
That's right.
He fulfills a specific niche of tech users who are over the age of like 45, but like phones and all the things they can do.
All right. Let's get to Mike's questions. Mike's got to have more questions.
So she had to go and do the 5, and then she can go forward.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
Okay. So we'll leave that and we'll come back around. Let me go. This one here I found that was a more. Why was Leland so easy to kill?
Why was he so?
All the things.
Oh,
Leland,
at the very end.
Did you see how many punches Michelle Yeoh was taking to the face?
She was bleeding.
I don't think
she bled at all the whole show.
But why was Leland? Why? I mean, stick him in that room, and was it what was in that room to do what it did to the nanobots? So
they magnetized the floor just like Spock had done when she was being attacked by Gant a couple episodes before that. Remember, and like she shot it like a gazillion times, and she's like ah, and then all the nanobots spilled out of Gant's body, and Spock magnetized the floor to trap them. So that's what Michelle Yeoh did, but she magnetized the floor so that they would then be pulled out of Leland's body because she was going for maximum pain.
And she smartly did it inside like the sealed chamber, the one super cool sealed chamber where he could be in it and you could see him and see all the pain and everything going on. And which is what she wanted. Yum yum.
Yeah, the question. I wasn't quite down with that. Like, I would have liked Nan to say almost anything else. Yeah. It was a little crazy.
That does worry me for the rest of the crew going forward. I got that in my notes. Look, wait, I guess I can't bust on my brother.
He's got written notes!
I'm going back to bullet journaling and I'm writing notes.
What about technology? Oh, okay. All right, let's see how this is playing
specifically for when multiple people need to interact with a set of notes.
Like I said, geeks over the age of 45. I did not arbitrarily pull that age.
You do not have your 40th birthday gift yet, my dear. Shouldn't she have magnetized the floor in the lab like several decks before? Well, there was a lot that she could have done, but
I think she had to lure him in there, and I think he might have been smart enough to be like, hey, that floor is magnetized. I'm not going in there. Although she did kick him in there, so it wasn't like he was lured in with a carrot.
Yeah, but like he's saying, like, I mean, she could have done. They could have had a whole deck prepared for that. But I like the thought of locking him in that room so no little bits of him could scurry out.
Yeah, I do like that he being in a sealed area. But
hold on. Mike's glazing over.
No.
Okay?
No.
All right, go ahead.
But wait, no. The thing was, well, but let me just say this. Was Leland as the physical flesh form gone?
Well,
I was pretty sure.
His
you mean
flesh
like
form kind of got chewed up. He was dead at that point. Leland was dead.
Right. So there was no. I mean, the scream of pain. That wasn't Leland himself. It was the what's the nanobot control.
Yeah,
thing,
I mean, realistically, that probably wouldn't have happened.
It was more of a screen of frustration, I'm gonna guess.
Yeah, that's true.
I would think that. Like, I know she was all talking about it being painful and stuff, but yeah, I think at that point, Spock magnetized Kevin was saying that he magnetized the bridge plate, floor plating in the bridge of the 31 ship. But yeah, and I think that what I thought was odd was that they didn't talk about setting a trap for Leland that way.
No.
Maybe because they were hoping he wouldn't ever show up on the ship. Like I think their goal was not to be boarded. But
that's the goal of every ship I'm on.
I mean, usually,
unless it's a booze cruise.
So I guess when he got there, and I'm sure that not Michelle Yeoh, but
Emperor
Georgiou had that in the back of her mind. Like, she's like, this is how this needs to play out. I can use magnetization to defeat him. But I guess my question was, I didn't feel like magnetizing him to the floor was actually going to neutralize control. Like, what kind of computer program are you that you put all of your ducks in one body?
Well, but see, I don't think he did put all his ducks in one body. I think that I do think that there was all ducks in the body for that battle that was there happening need to go. And we do need to remember this is early Star Trek, so the computing power isn't as great as everything. So it's not like the Borg. It's not like the Borg that we're used to, where they like can instantly do stuff and all. So I still think that he was the hive mind for that battle. That's why when that got neutralized, the rest of the ships kind of went bleh. But I think if they had let it go for like 20 minutes, a half an hour,
you would have like rebooted it, and the next control
right.
Okay.
Yes. And I also like, even though at the end of the episodes they said Control's been neutralized, it's like we don't friggin' know how many different copies of himself he made and sent off everywhere.
Right.
And a lot of other
true that. Yes. So let me.
I'm going to let my brother go through his questions since he needs to go to bed early since he's over 50
again.
50. I'm hanging tough.
I believe in. Goodbye.
All right, bye. So
anyway,
thanks, guys.
Yeah,
thanks.
We got no problems. He should have had 2 bodies minimum. Well, yeah, but maybe he did. Maybe he does.
Yeah.
Maybe there's 2 Lelands on the Discovery, and one of them's just hiding in a Jeffries tube.
I'm going to circle to those questions.
All right. Okay. Sorry.
But okay. But you suggest that the magnetize the room and super magnetize is those nanobots dead, or are they just being held to the floor?
No. They said it killed them. It effectively destroyed them.
I am gonna because when they magnetized the nanobots on the Section 31 ship, the Gant bots, they after they went back and showed them again, and they were inside a force field. So the feeling was that they were not neutralized; they were just trapped. Whereas, so I don't know if she just magnetized the floor of the spore drive, or if she magnetized it and then did something that would also interfere with them to neutralize them completely.
Yeah,
I'm gonna assume that she did more, bleeps on the thing that truly neutralized them, that made them unable to either communicate outside, which is why all the drones and stuff died, and made them inert.
Okay.
No matter what, that admiral said Control has been neutralized, and the showrunner has said Control has been neutralized in an interview after the season. So
really,
yeah. So I'm willing to take them at their words that Control isn't going to be making a comeback anytime soon.
Kevin asked a great question. Why are they taking the nanobots with them?
Yeah, that's a great question, because as soon as what's his name made it onto the ship, I've been like, well, there goes our fucking plan.
Yeah,
we can't
to not bring any of the AI with us to where we're going, to keep the AI and the sphere data separate. So I can only assume that they are confident in neutralizing those nanobots. Or that, when they get to the future, we'll find out.
And hopefully the rest of Discovery's firewalls are good enough that Leland wasn't able to stick himself in there somewhere.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure the sphere data was
defending it.
That's
so right.
I feel like the sphere data was Discovery at that point, and that they really couldn't be...
Is that Mike texting us saying you guys are boring me? No. All right, what's your next question, brother? Bring it.
It's so safe to say, and Chris kind of answered the question, the other 31 ships, they were just drones.
Yeah, basically.
They weren't manned ships.
No.
They weren't.
No.
Yeah, because they said at one point that they scanned all of them and there was only one organic life sign, and that was Leland.
Okay.
You know what? I didn't think about it until this moment, but at the end there, when Ash Tyler was made Chancellor of Section 31 or whatever, you'd be like, great, what's my budget to hire new people? Because all the old ones are dead.
Just about all of them are gone.
Yeah. So,
I love that he became the director. And I mean, I'm glad that his follow-up question was like, so, I just had to fight.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
I'm Klingon, right?
Yeah. It's I'm really not Ash Tyler, right?
Yeah.
But they answered it, and I was like, all right.
Yeah.
If you want to put their clandestine
that's cool
section in the hands of former Klingons, it's fine. It's all fine.
So I was going to say, so that was everything in the end where they were getting interviewed or interrogated or whatever.
Debriefed.
Debriefed, yes. You never really got to see the gentleman's face who was talking to him.
Yeah, they did keep that a little weird. Every once in a while,
now,
they make weird decisions like that. Like the end of the tribunal where Michael Burnham in the first season was being
that was a horrible decision.
Yeah, like they made that seem so weird, and then this one where they kept his face in the dark because it made it, or blocked. It made it seem like he was either going to be something important or like because he definitely had a smirky kind of face, but. Maybe they were just representing like, faceless administration, which always kind of feels like that to you.
I also wouldn't put it past him for him to be like the high up character that Tyler has to interact with on the Section 31 show. Because you got to remember, we got that coming down the pike.
Mm-hmm.
You got a Section 31 show?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Mike, you got to read some things. There's going to be a Section 31 show.
Or just watch our vlogs. Like...
Yeah. They
come on, man.
Vlogs, go ahead.
They just started shooting the Picard show. Okay. But yeah, no, honestly, 2 days ago they did start shooting the Picard show, or 1 day ago.
Okay. Yep. And then what I got a sense of that guy was like, I'm thinking that was a Control, like a remnant of Control.
I mean, it could
be. But you all said that you've been confirmed that Control is done.
Yeah, the showrunner said it is. So I can only.
So it's safe to say there's no tie-in with the Borg.
Yeah, it doesn't look that way.
That wasn't the precursor to the birth of the Borg.
Yes, it does not look that way.
No.
Kevin in the room asks, does anyone know how many people went to the future? I thought only the bridge crew went, but it looks like everyone went.
I had the same question.
That is a fine question, Kevin, because I don't know the answer to that one. It does look like everyone went.
It looks like the majority of the Discovery crew went. And I felt like they had represented to us that the bridge crew was standing with her and was going with her. But then everyone was on the ship. So I was like, oh, I see. This wasn't just a skeleton crew going. So I was kind of interested.
Maybe just the bridge crew was the initial plan when it looked like things were going to be easier, but then like something.
No, this was always the plan, though.
This was
they were going to make a stand, and then she had to go to the future and take Discovery with her. And I think the bridge crew were just representative of the Discovery crew. I think that's what they were doing, but I guess I would have liked to have seen like the scene where they were going through the bridge crew and they were leaving messages for their loved ones.
Yeah,
I would have loved some sort of like mini montage where they were like they showed us other people. Maybe not, we didn't hear what they were saying or who they were talking to, but just that like all of these people had chosen to stay with her. And I thought it was interesting, especially her specifically, that like her character arc over 2 seasons went from being a mutineer to being beloved by her crew. And I felt like it would have been reinforced because during the debriefing the guy even asked, I think Ash answered, did Michael Burnham have something to do with this, basically? Was this something that she had done? So I mean there's still that little bit of suspicion by Starfleet Command in the back of their minds about
they might know if they can pin something else on her. Yeah,
about to say, because they clearly just used her as a scapegoat for the beginning of the Klingon War.
Yeah,
right. Now the 2 questions, because it's gonna, but these 2 are gonna be long. The talk. Calypso, that short trek one. Does it tie in at all with the show?
I think it's supposed to. And this leads directly to definitely Adam's sense of disappointment.
Yeah.
Because the understanding was that where they went into the future was going to show us how we got to Calypso, like how that bridged to there. But they didn't show us that. So I think the idea is like that's supposed to be the answer that, Discovery, because Discovery and the sphere data had like merged, and this new AI was born of that, and after 950 or 1,000 years, she evolved and then could interact and control the ship. Are we gonna see that in season 3? Kind of hope so. And I think maybe it was kind of showing us this is what happened to Discovery. This is why we've never seen or heard of the Spore Drive or Discovery in our futures in the timeline, because she ended up somewhere, you know, and she became a she and ended up somewhere, you know, hidden away in this
all
like
ships
storm.
Are she. Yeah. Yeah, no, my disappointment was from the fact that they didn't show us anything of Discovery after they went through. They didn't need to explain everything, but I wanted something for my mind to be able to work on in all this downtime, and it's not going to get it. So that was my disappointment.
Wait a minute, if I understand correctly, you're saying some kind of tease of where Discovery's at?
Yeah, like the exact time they're at.
They're supposed to be going to Terra Elysium.
I'm sorry?
They're supposed to have gone to Terra Elysium, which was the planet early on where they found the people who had been like scooped up out of the like early 21st century or whatever, and saved from the next week, and saved from the nukes. And then, you know, the church was their like beacon, and that was why they were shown that. That's why she had to go and set the signal there, because that's supposed to be their safe haven when they travel through time.
Well, didn't they also have to do that because otherwise there would have been an extinction level event and like the whole planet would have been radiated?
Yes.
So
yes, that's they had to do that and that stuff.
Yeah. So next question. Bring
it. So my next question is, way the show ended, and then you got the appearance of there's Spock, no beard, and man, he looked awfully young. I liked him with a beard.
I kind of did dig him with the beard.
Yeah,
I realized, like, as he was getting ready to shave it, I was like, I kind of like him. I kind of wish he had just kind of trimmed it so he didn't have that hairs coming up here. But I really did like his Spock with the beard. But they had to tie it into the canon.
The whole thing was to me was like the focus is now on the Enterprise, and I'm thinking to myself, isn't this show about Discovery?
It was the farewell to Enterprise. Because that, like, they're going to go and now continue their mission, and those characters are going to go away, and we're going to go into the future with Discovery. So that was kind of why they ended it with that, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was like thanks, Enterprise. Okay. Thank you for letting us borrow your captain and your first officer.
Yeah, and with how good Anson Mount did, he deserved a full-fledged goodbye.
Yeah.
Right. I liked Pike. That's his name?
Yeah, Pike.
Yeah, Captain Pike.
Anson Mount is the actor. Pike is the character.
Yeah.
Right. I liked him a lot.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
He was phenomenal.
I said to Adam that that Pike and the Pike in the J.J. Abrams movies.
That
timeline. I like that Pike. They kind of a little bit of the same. They kind of some of the sharp wit. I mean. They're a little bit that, but I like this Pike a lot too.
This Pike, I said this Pike was, I think he represented everything that they've ever talked about what Starfleet and the Federation are supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
He was the heart of every time they describe what their true mission is. Like he was that pure, you know, version of it. And I think that he just did such a phenomenal job of representing, and this even goes beyond the show, and he did a phenomenal job of representing what
Kevin in chat, he calls him Handsome Mount. That is good.
Yes,
I hadn't heard that one before.
I had not either, and I can't believe I didn't get there on my own.
Yeah, very nice, Kevin. That is good.
I mean, not to make things like too political or whatever, but like I always say, this is our version of art. This is why we watch them, because we're looking for reflections of our current lives and allegories to what's going on. But he is the type of white male we all want to see active in our communities. He was compassionate. He listened. He deferred to whoever had the good ideas and to who had the knowledge that he didn't have. He was not, you know, patronizing. That's what we're looking for. That is it. Gentlemen.
I'm doing my best.
That's it. You're doing an excellent job.
Yay.
All across everywhere. That's what we're looking for. He listened and was quiet when he needed to be, and he summed up what he heard when there was a lot of techno babble. And he was like, so what I'm hearing is this is what we need to do.
What I'm hearing is door jam. Check.
Door jam. Check. We're using my ship as Discovery as a door jam. and that's what I think really made his character feel so good to everyone. And he was the quintessential leader.
Hey,
now talk about captains. Who's going to be the captain on Discovery? What's your take? Because we don't have no Starfleet in a way. So
hold on. I want to pull it back for a second. Let her think about that, and just mention that Kevin, before he brought out Handsome Out, said the end of this one was the Pike show, kind of like how the end of the series Enterprise was like a TNG episode.
Yeah.
Because like Mike, I don't know if you watched Enterprise or not. But
the Enterprise show.
The series
with Scott Bakula.
I didn't get into that one.
Yeah, its final episode was written as if it was like a holodeck history of what happened at the end of Captain Archer's career.
Yeah.
And a lot of the Enterprise fans were upset about that, because like it took away a lot of the stuff from their show and like injected another show into the end of the thing. Yeah. But luckily this ending was just a season finale and not a
series finale. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But anyway, so who's gonna be captain? Sorry, going back to that.
No, I was reading all of Kevin's yes.
And don't forget, later on we have a question we have to go back to that he had, but that's for later after we get through Mike's stuff.
Captain
I'm sorry,
Daddy.
Yeah. I liked it, Kevin.
Who is going to be captain?
Of Captain Pike, I'd like to hit it.
Oh. Yowza.
Yeah. Who's going to be captain? I don't know. That's a good question. Of course, he's going to vote for Saru. I think it has to be Saru as well.
Yeah.
I think that Michael is on a different path. Like, I think that she and her development this season, so many words, this season was very good. Like, she really did get to face all of her demons that were inside that drove her to constantly take on the guilt of the world and have to fix everything. Like, those were her character flaws, as she put it, that Spock had identified and helped her kind of process through, especially when she learned that her parents, or that her mom, didn't just die, that she was doing this grand thing, that she was trying to help fix and save people. And I think that was something she definitely needed to do, very much so. And that was one of the things Pike had said to her. Like, he was so privileged to be able to watch her find that part of herself, that, you know, and kind of fix it. But that being said, I think Saru is the better choice for captain because of how much he has matured in that realm. Like, his ability to learn and to also watch Captain Pike and learn from him as well. Like, he was very ready to become captain at the beginning of the season, but now I think he is perfectly ready, because he got to watch firsthand a truly excellent leader, whereas he had to kind of learn how to be a good leader after discovering that their former one was not good.
Yeah, it was kind of like that episode earlier when Lorca got captured by the Klingons and Saru was in charge, and he went back and talked to the computer to like set up a spreadsheet program of comparing himself to all the other good captains out there.
Yeah.
But it was the right way of doing that same kind of thing.
Yeah. And I mean, I think it also shows part of his maturity when he didn't even say, like, let's not make that decision now. Because I think he thought he was going to defer to Mike, or thinks he's going to defer to Michael. I think that he truly thinks that there's a discussion that needs to be had, because he would follow her. Like, he truly would then follow her leadership. And they've always had this like brother-sister relationship, and it was very competitive. And I think now it's matured where it's very supportive. But I still think that because of that, because he didn't immediately, it would be like, you know, of course, Captain, I would accept that. And he just said, let's put the brakes on that until we get past this. I think that was
I think it was the smart thing to do, to have everyone just focus on on what was happening right now.
Yeah. That's
but this opens up I don't want to say a power struggle, but when they go into the future, first off, the unknown. Two, is there really a Starfleet? Is there some order that some form of hierarchy that they'll walk into?
No,
who's going to say who's? I mean, I can see JoJo, if I'm calling her right. JoJo.
Giorgio?
JoJo?
Yeah.
Giorgio, oy vey.
Mojo Jojo? It's a different show.
Nice. Stick with me, Chris. Just stick with me, okay?
I mean, I knew what you were talking about, but I mean,
the evil one that came from the future, okay?
Yes, the Terran Emperor.
But what about her? What about her becoming the captain? Because she's going to say, "I'll cut your throat if you don't let me have that seat."
Well, she's got to go back and be on the Section 31 show.
Yeah, she's somehow got to go back in time. We're not, or back in, back in time. She's supposed to be on the Section 31 show, so we have no idea how this is going to happen. But
do you see what I'm saying though? Even if take her out of the equation, what
the goal is that they'll function like a democracy. I'm pretty sure they are Starfleet officers.
This is true too.
They're not like a pirate ship.
I understand that, but you never know. Somebody might have a better idea.
They're not going to act like a democracy, though.
She's cutthroat, is she not?
She is. Giorgio,
yes. But I also don't think that she would be able to get every one of them to submit. Like, I don't think the entire ship's crew would be like, oh, well,
you agree that she has her own agenda?
Yes. I think she always has her own agenda, but I truly think...
For something grander?
No, I truly think her agenda was to help Michael. I think that some part of her truly loved her Michael. Or, I want to say loved. And that how she dealt with being pulled into this universe was to attach those feelings to this Michael. And that she has been working steadily to forward Michael Burnham's goals. Does she have something else behind? Yeah, I think so. I think she's one who always has more than one scheme, more than one pot simmering, and she kind of uses the one that's going to be most beneficial to her. And that's why I don't think she would stick around with this group once they go through the wormhole and just be, content to like live out their lives.
I still think she got on a
skate pod.
Yeah, it's the word. See, she knew it. Kevin in the chat there, he had some bad words for Saru, and so Kevin and I are going to go to fisticuffs in a second. I'm just kidding, Kevin. But no, he said that he was questioning Saru's judgment after his second puberty, and I can understand being a little bit worried, but you had to give him a little bit of time to breathe. I mean, imagine going through your whole life being afraid of everything and all of a sudden not being afraid of everything anymore. I mean, I would be see you, Lego. Thanks for popping by. Lego was in Twitch. Yep. We're all very excited because Minecraft, a new version of Minecraft came out.
Yeah, no, that's right. Don't get me wrong, I understand that they're not a democracy and they're Starfleet, but just like Voyager, they have traveled many thousands of light years outside of Starfleet's purview and are now going to be pretty much on their own. Also because they have this information and data that cannot be shared. It cannot be allowed to get out. So there's going to be some of those, considerations. And that was why I think that he truly would defer to Burnham if they all kind of decided that, yes, she should be the captain. So I feel like there's going to be a little bit of that democracy, although I agree he was the first officer and should just become the captain. I think that he will do. And I think Burnham would have no problem with saying, yeah, this is how that's supposed to work. This is where you were set up to be captain now.
One last question. Wait.
Question. I didn't get to give my answer.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go.
Tilly.
Mike, you were saying?
Tilly's going to totally be captain.
Oh, come on. You know what the real answer was.
What?
Tilly's mole.
Yeah, we did that already, didn't we?
Oh, did you?
Didn't we do that? Were we talking just us, or were we on camera then for that?
Oh, I have no idea. I thought you meant earlier tonight.
No. But no, honestly, with the captain thing, here's what I think might happen. And this is cool. I think the beginning of the first season, they're undulating, going back and forth. Like Saru's in charge because he was already, but like the two of them are talking about trying to work it out. and they get a second ship, and this is going to start being a thing. Like they're going to rebuild Starfleet, just them.
The Vidrash.
Yeah. Anyway.
I don't know.
All right, next question, Mike. Sorry.
My last question is pertaining to the other side, as I'll call it. The 950 some years that they're ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Do they run around in the next season?
I'm sorry, what? Mike?
It's really 930 because they had to go to the same point that the mom is constantly jumping to, and that was 20 years previous to when they went through the wormhole.
Oh,
it was 950 years from when the mom went, so it's only 930 from when they went.
I got what you're saying.
Okay, gotcha. So are they going to go through next season of doing stuff without letting others know that they exist from their past?
Well, they did let them know they existed with the seventh signal.
But only the people that knew that they weren't blown up.
Yes.
Right, but I'm saying they're 930 years ahead.
Yes.
Okay, so if they have to bump into, let's just say, whatever is I'm just picking Starfleet just because.
They're 51.
And say, hey, look, we were around 930 years ago, and we just showed up, by the way. I mean, wouldn't you want to go through the time of like going, they don't need to know we exist because they're going to just inundate us. And, oh, by the way, we got this ship that's, has this spear information in it that we can't let you have either. So do they go through next season doing?
That's a good question. And because I almost was like, well, they're 51,000 light years away and they're in the beta quadrant, but it's 950 years in the future. So who's to say
Starfleet doesn't reach that far?
Yeah, the Starfleet doesn't get that far.
Or that there's warp conduits everywhere.
I was about to say, where did the wormhole in DS9 go? Is that the beta quadrant?
No, gamma quadrant.
That was the gamma quadrant.
Yeah.
And the delta quadrant was where Voyager was.
Correct.
So the beta quadrant has heretofore been not mentioned.
Not too much, no.
Okay. So
that's why they went there.
That's why it was there. So the idea
after this, they have to find a fifth quadrant to explore.
That's not how math works.
I made myself laugh too much. I could not say it out loud.
Such a nerd.
See, my quadrant means 4, and so if there was a fifth quadrant, that
won't be,
okay,
right.
Cool. Just
Gotcha.
making sure. Just making
Excellent.
sure. Math degree in action.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. It feels like they could fall into kind of a Voyager type thing, except for they're not going to be trying to come home. And they're also 950 years in the future.
Well,
30 years in the future.
All right. They only have one Maquis member on board, though, Georgiou, and not half a crew of Maquis.
True.
Oh, that was annoying.
So I'm interested, and I do hope that it doesn't feel like that. So that's why I'm interested to see what they're going to do. Like, are some of them going to decide to just make camp on Terra Elysium and just not be Starfleet anymore and just make, be families and whatever? Are some of them going to be like, well, we're out here and we have this ship, so, why don't we explore a little bit?
Oh, I know what they're going to do. They're going to shoot the Discovery into the sun, just like Battlestar Galactica. Spoilers. If anyone hasn't watched it by now. Yeah. Anyway, but no, oh man, I had something good for real, and then you mentioned that, and that just overrode everything. I'm sorry, continue.
That was kind of the end of it.
Oh, okay.
Well, I was just curious, I was just being speculative of what next season could bring.
Exactly. It could bring anything. That's kind of good.
I know.
Kind of scary.
Yeah, so.
I know. It's the unknown that Adam doesn't like, which is what really pissed him off about the end of that season.
Yeah, I got you.
They left it to the imagination. And look, you know what? When I read a book and they don't tell me explicitly, like, and 30 years later, here's what they did, it does kind of bother me because I want the author to tell me exactly, like, this is what happened. But the characters have become part of you, and you're supposed to, make up your own little headcanon of what you think they probably did as they went on. Now, granted, this was just the end of a season, so we'll get to know. It's just that we have to wait, and we can't really mull it out with any sort of details. All we know is, time, and they're in the beta quadrant. Time and space.
When can we expect to see a next short trek, do you think?
I don't know. What do you think they'll do more over this break?
They did say that it was picked up, and because it's a good idea, it gets you a little bit of content and stuff. And
do you think they'll debut again in the spring next year?
Probably.
Because
or before whenever they're going to do.
Yeah, they're starting shooting in the summer.
Yeah, they're like starting to do production stuff now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm busy Googling because Kevin in the room said that the Federation is in both parts of the Alpha and Beta quadrants already.
Federation
and he's a nerd.
Yeah, he is. Well, obviously.
Right there.
They're in both part of the Alpha and Beta quadrants.
Yeah, and part of the Klingon Empire, including Konos, is in the Beta quadrant, and the Romulan Star Empire does part of that, but it's not saying anything about there we have it. But Homeworlds, Konos, Velt Minor, Icona. Oh yeah. All right, so if Icona is there, they at least explore around there. All right, cool. Sorry.
So
I got distracted. Something shiny happened.
Listen, I'm gonna go.
I'm
gonna work on better questions. Maybe we'll get together like in a month from now.
These were good Adam, questions. Yeah, I'm all down for it for a month from now. We can discuss
how about
all the rumors about Picard show. What's up?
How about, are you up for taking your equipment to when we go on vacation, like we did before?
I can't take the whole setup. I'm going to take my laptop and like at least 2 cameras.
Just an idea.
A laptop and at least 2 cameras.
Yeah, but I mean, I can't take it all. That'd be ridiculous. As it is, I'm always destroyed by the time we unpack the van, without trying to stress out of not breaking all my stuff.
Yep.
But I can't take the desktop. But we will do some stuff. Don't worry.
Yeah, because a month from now we should be.
If anything, we'll do some regular
a month
shooting.
From now, we're gonna have moved on and be in the throes of Game of Thrones, and
we will.
Yeah, we will.
The finale is while we're
away. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be like up to our ears.
We'll still be crying about this past Thursday or this upcoming Thursday. We didn't even get to segue to that. Endgame.
Oh yeah.
Jesus, she forgot. Maybe Mike will have seen Endgame by then.
Like.
Maybe we'll go out that week and see it.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. Sweet.
Yeah, but no, are you game though to get together again and do it? Maybe a little bit of Star Trek talk.
Oh yeah, totally. No. Sure, we can do that. No
Star Trek talk.
We're gonna have plenty of time.
You have to watch.
No, we can't. Goodbye.
All of the original series.
That's sarcasm.
I know.
All right, brother. Do your sign off. Do your thing. Do your plugs.
Hey. Thank you, guys, for having me. You guys are just, my head's swollen right now because I just got a wealth of information.
Did you see her? She's trying to get me to cut you off.
Yeah, I counted him down first.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
Did you do his countdown in 3?
Yeah, I did 3, 2, 1.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Anyway, I'm Mike Dixon. I have a YouTube channel. I do tech reviews on phones. I talk about phone tech and carriers and 5G that I hate and a few other things. So,
your signal's breaking up, Mike. We're driving into a tunnel.
Okay. Friday night.
I thought he said he talked about terriers like little dogs.
Yeah.
I thought I had a chance to plug my channel. Look, Friday night will be on, and it'll be on Will's channel. All 56 subscribers.
And not this Friday, but the following Friday, we'll be broadcasting from maybe here, from here physically, because the whole crew will be here. George is coming up from Tennessee. Will coming up from 2 towns away.
It's gonna be crazy.
She won't be here.
I'm gonna be at rehearsal.
Yes.
Get your finger out of my frame.
All right, brother. Thanks a lot for coming by. Thanks for hanging tough.
Would I hit the hang up button? That's what I'm doing to get out.
Yeah, I'll get you out. I'm gonna take you off our stream. Boom, you're gone from our stream, but we can still hear you.
All right, I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, see you, bro.
Where did that voice come from?
Bye. All right.
Kevin, you need to own your nerdness. I gotta address this. Even you can't believe you just said that. Own it.
Yeah. Now's the time for all this goodness. All right.
You know what? I can tell you all about how the saucer section of the Enterprise D could land on a planet. Because I read it in a book. I was 12.
I almost freaked out on someone when they were saying, couldn't the Enterprise saucer section have separated and gone off when that thing was going to blow up, when the photon torpedo was...
The Enterprise A?
Yeah. No, this was just Enterprise.
This was not the A. This wasn't the A?
No.
Oh, that's right.
The A was they don't give it letters until the first one dies.
They thought that saucer section could come off that?
If you were born at like, and TNG was your first one.
No,
I
then
could
you go back and you watch.
At least they knew
and
the
you read
saucer
some
separates.
text manuals, people.
Nerd unite.
Nerd, yes.
Exactly. All right, so let's scroll back so I don't miss any of Kevin's questions that he had.
Yeah, good questions. You good questions, Kevin. Thank you for coming by.
Yeah, so we did kind of go into, does anyone know how many people went into the future? Yeah, so we did. We went into that after the thing, so cool. And we mentioned about how Enterprise was, the end of Enterprise was more like a TNG episode, unfortunately, because it didn't give that crew like the whole episode to be able to do their thing. I'll take any chance I can to see Will Riker, sure, but although I don't know about now. What's his name? Jonathan Frakes is getting a little bat-ass crazy old manish, but in a good, fun way.
Did you send me or did I just come across it on Twitter? It was a smash cut of him on, what was that show that he used to do? It was it Ripley's Believe It or Not?
No, I didn't send it to you, but it's everywhere.
It's everywhere now, and it's just like 2 or 5 minutes of him saying,
"It's fiction.
We made it up. It's fiction. That's a lie." And it's just him over and over again. I was like, I forgot about this show, and now I remember watching it, and he's crazy.
Yeah, he is. All right. So now getting back to Saru. Yeah. So we did talk about Saru a little bit because Kevin even admitted he would be way worse when I pointed out about the whole getting emotions, not emotions. Sorry, that's Vulcans. Really, with the yawning? I know. All right, but yeah. So I really do hope that, because Saru deserves, not that Michael Burnham doesn't, but like he kind of got bypassed by Burnham once already, and I don't want that to happen. And I'm hopeful that now, without his scared of everythingness, that he has enough self-confidence to want to argue for himself to maintain that one. Like if he still had his threat ganglia, I could totally see him acquiescing. But even before, when he did have it, he wanted to be captain.
Yeah, when Pike showed up and said, "I'll be taking over Discovery," he looked surprised and disappointed.
Yeah,
like he was ready to be captain then, and now I definitely think that he is ready to be captain.
Yeah,
now.
but Kevin doesn't think either of them are able. That was definitely, I'm not making that part up, right? Hold on, going up. But
yeah,
neither are ready.
You don't think either of them are ready now? And he said no, but someone.
Yeah,
Saru's the best. He hadn't forgiven Saru for torturing the tardigrade.
Yeah,
what part of did Saru really torture it, or did he just?
He ordered it to be tortured. He ordered it to, because they needed
that
another
was during
jump.
the episode when he was like trying to be captain.
Yeah,
and he was not doing a good job.
And and like, the only example he really had, well, not the only example, but the current example he had was Crazy Lorca.
Yeah.
So what's the show about? Up until now, it was about Michael finding her place. Now they are all equally lost. Yeah, I think that's going to be their thing. Like Michael's settled in now, and she's her person, and she's found her family.
Yeah.
And so I hope that it's just exploration and stuff. I kind of hope that season 3 is just like the original show, where they just a different planet every week. Or
that's where I feel like they really could be going. And I felt like this season they did a great job of slowly expanding the personalities of the bridge crew, like getting them
a little bit.
Yeah, like making it more about them. So we got to know more about Detmer, especially like in their relationship with Arium, when we see them in the mess laughing together. Like we got to know more about who they are. And then I think that's why they showed us them leaving those messages for their families, because I feel like the next season is going to transition into more of a classic, the whole bridge crew trek, going places, talking in the ready room together. I feel like they've integrated them more.
They got a cool ready room now.
Yeah.
I of everything that's happened with this show that I want an answer for, it's a behind the scenes type of answer, and I want to know what all went on with having the actress recast for Arium, and like do they like the Sarah Middich, I think her name is, did they like her that much that they wanted her to be able to come in after Arium died, or
really
did she have a longer contract?
Be a contract issue.
Man, I would
feel
love
like
to know that.
It's gotta be a contract issue. And when they decided that that character should die, the actress had to be moved and switched because that actress had to stay on. And she has become part of the bridge crew. And like, so now you see her in that group.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's gotta be the.
It makes the most sense.
Yeah.
All right. So, Kevin, you did see Calypso, right? The short trek. I'm sure that he did. He's a nerd. Ha. Meant that in a good way. All right. So, what do you have that you would like to talk about the finale that we haven't already touched on, if anything? If not, I have a couple things I could.
Yeah, I feel like I was content with it, so there wasn't really a lot that jumped out at me. Like when I watched a couple things, videos of other people, and I did not like the non-response. Like
I liked it. Look, that's even one of my notes.
Yum yum.
Yeah, that like, you know, gives her a lot of character, more so than.
Yeah, and I wanted her to say something that would give her character, but Yum Yum was like a little excessive for a Starfleet officer. I mean, the Terran Emperor, sure.
Well, yeah,
but I felt like that was a little excessive for her.
It was, but she knew her audience. She was talking to the Terran Emperor. No one else was around. They were about to go and fight this thing that like has destroyed 30 ship crews and could possibly wipe out all life in the universe. I'm gonna loosen up a bit when that happens.
True.
When that happens, wait. If that happens.
All right. So yeah, no, that was really the only thing that kind of jumped out at me, but all in all, I thought it was very solid. And I mean, I know I say again because I've been saying this over and over again for 2 seasons. The acting was phenomenal. The acting by Sonequa Martin Green was out of this world.
And the acting season
by Bach, name is
Ethan Peck.
Was fantastic. He did it. He took his he maintained his Vulcanness while communicating his human emotion for her. I mean, that was great. It was fantastic. It was lovely. The emotion was there. It was the same thing I felt when Saru thought he was gonna die and they were having their goodbye. And Kevin agrees. The acting was phenomenal.
It was.
Yes. I loved it. I thought that was.
Yeah, see, I was a little bit different with the finale. I went from at the end when it was over, I was really annoyed that they hadn't shown us anything.
Like we didn't even do a reaction because he was like, can't talk about this.
I can't because it just would have been just me like
tinged in negative, yeah.
And I understand that was my emotional reaction to the thing. Objectively, I knew that it was great acting, like it had been all season. Sonequa Martin Green this season. Like I wasn't so much into her and Michael season 1.
Yeah, you had said that.
Definitely, but she killed it this season, and I still don't know if I like the character that much, but I don't know, probably. I mean, yeah, but I mean, just the emotional range on her face and everything this season, and yeah. So but so right after the show, I was hating it. The way they didn't give us anything, and at that moment I was picking apart all the different stuff that was wrong with it, because that's what us Star Trek fans do. We nitpick, and I don't know. Oh, you don't nitpick? Excuse me.
I don't feel like I nitpick.
There was a whole. You own the book, Nitpicker's Guide to Star Trek.
Yes, I had to read it because I didn't know what nitpicking was like.
Boo.
Someone bought that for me. I didn't buy it.
Okay. But yeah, so I do agree that, like, coming at it from one perspective, there are tons of things that you could call out and say, well, it was dumb for them to bother going to the future if control was neutralized. But that can be explained that, well, at that moment, they didn't know if control was really neutralized everywhere, so they still needed to fall through with their plan. And there was the matter of, is the time crystal. One of the things that came up earlier that you might not be down here for, might not have heard through the floor, is if the time crystal is like an entity and like has an intelligence about it, and that's why it wouldn't let her go forward without the thing, or it just kind of knows through like just built in.
We had talked about that a little bit too when Pike, by accepting the time crystal, cemented his future.
Yeah.
And I felt like I don't think it's just an inert, inanimate object. No, I think that there's definitely some sort of force and some sort of even if it's, you know, more of an animalistic intelligence, not so much of a sentient direct intelligence, that there's something there. And that is why she had to set, like, it wouldn't allow her not to set the signals so that this battle would happen correctly. It wouldn't allow her to move forward without her setting the signals to make sure that that battle was happening correctly. Like it allowed, and I feel like that kind of helps the protection of time in you know, when like whenever you have a time travel story, people are always like, well, why don't you just do this and then you can do that? Like, if you have time travel, you can do anything. And this kind of addresses that by saying, no, the time crystals won't just allow that to happen. You have to, like, for this moment to happen, you have to go back and make sure that all of those other moments happened, and then that unlocks the next step where you can do the thing. So
yeah, and I didn't even think about it, but one of the other questions that always gets raised is, how was she able to send the 7th signal if by the time that they get through the wormhole, the time crystal was supposed to burn out and she wasn't able to use it? Well, she had already sent the 7th signal, so we know that the time crystal had enough mojo left to send one more signal. And maybe like as soon as they went through, before it broke down all the way, she was able to pop and then get sucked back and everything. So so after I was able to calm my emotions about the finale, I was able to start seeing the ways to explain the things. And yes, some people that hate the show are going to say explain away the problems with it, and some of the disco haters are going to. Now I really do want to know what the disco haters are going to do now, because now all right, hold on, I'm backtracking even away. My big issue: Culber died and Stamets acted like a jerk. I really don't like Stamets this year. Culber went through a lot. Stamets was kind of the worst. Oh, but I mean, Stamets, how did Stamets act like a jerk? All right, how did Stamets act like a jerk?
Yeah, but I have to ask, because I felt like he was very true to what someone would act like if your loved one died and then came back. Like, if you grieved their loss and then you got a second chance, very puppy dog, very clingy. I think that those are things that you would do, especially, and also you would celebrate the fact that you got this second chance. So then you know, and then you kind of get a little smothery. And so I don't think Stamets did a very good job of maybe acknowledging the fact that Culber has done something that no one's ever done before, and he has no idea how to feel about that. Like, Stamets just wasn't giving Culber the space to say, I don't know what's happening, and I don't know how I feel about it. Stamets was just very happy. And I think that, like, I kind of loved him for that, because especially, like, he's got this thing, Anthony Rapp has this thing with his forehead that whenever he is, you know, incredulously happy, it like comes up and crinkles in the middle. It's adorable. It's just adorable.
But, and also you got to remember that Stamets was never the emotional
no,
waterfall.
And you know what he also wasn't? He wasn't the strong one of the two.
No.
Culber was.
That's exactly it. Which part? We said a lot. Oh, all the stuff that she said. Yeah, but I mean, all this stuff. I don't think that I wouldn't have called him a jerk. I just would have called him like not thinking it from the other perspective, not being empathetic to the situation. But
yes, but I don't know if that's necessarily something to condemn him for. I think it's something to. Yeah, I know. I'm like.
Well, but also you didn't do the lower mic thing. Now we'll hear you better.
Well, now I'm touching things. Oh God. I think it's something to acknowledge that that's kind of what caused the increase in tension.
Yeah, he says Stamets doesn't do well with thinking feelings.
No, because
of
he was so. He's not the empathy feeler, especially in their relationship. And he even said that when he was leaving the message for his brother, when he was gonna go with Burnham, he said, you translated me to mom and dad and vice versa. Like, Stamets has never had the ability to read emotions.
He has come 1,000 miles since the show started.
Yes.
If you remember what he was like then. I hated that Colbert ran to Stamets instead of them running to each other.
At what point? Like, when did he run?
Because I'm trying to think of the thing, because wasn't Colbert like on the floor when they first saw him? I'm assuming he means when they first saw him in the Spore Drive network. It's like Colbert did all the emotional labor.
Yes.
So, yes.
Sorry,
yes.
Canadian. The extra U did not throw us off. Yeah, he definitely did all the emotional labor, and he had done it throughout their entire relationship. And that's what Colbert, when Stamets was doing all the spore jumping and he was, being sucked into the spore drive, and his eyes were, Stamets was all out of it. I mean, Colbert was trying to bring him back and talking about their past and how, he had basically, like, he pulled Paul to see cultural things. Like, he was constantly trying to get Stamets to connect with his emotional humanity, because he was just not one to do that very well. And I liked that. I liked that they had a character like that, and they had a relationship where obviously one was the feeler and one was the more cerebral, and that's not unlike a lot of relationships that we have in our real lives. And I mean, you obviously connect with Colbert more than you do with Stamets, and I kind of connect a little bit with Stamets more than Colbert, because I'm not really the more considerate of the two of us. And I've grown though. Like, I think part of it is identifying the things in yourself that are weaknesses and that you can grow from them and understand. Like, I do much better empathizing now than I used to when I was younger. And I think Stamets will also do that now that he has had to go through this like tumultuous time of losing Colbert, not physically, and then losing him emotionally. So I think that it'll just make their relationship stronger, because Stamets will now be able to take the burden of some of that emotional labor on himself.
Yeah, I'm so sad that the first time I saw that scene of Colbert coming back to Stamets in sickbay, that I was 100% convinced that this was all like a coma hallucination.
Like, he bumped his head Stamets. And now he's seeing Colbert.
Yeah, I thought for sure that's what was happening.
Nah, they're not gonna let that relationship go. We all love it so much.
I was hoping not.
No, I understand. And again, Colbert had to make the choice. Like, Colbert had to do the work to come back to the relationship. So I understand, like, he really does have to do a lot of that change. But Paul had finally acknowledged him. He had acknowledged his emotions and his feeling, and he said, I'm going to give you the space. I'm going to move forward. And I think that's why Colbert was the one to then say, no, I don't want that. That's not what I want. I want to be with you. And I think that good, I can see the thank you. That's what I was trying to do. I think that I think that was kind of earned a little bit. But I mean, I loved Wilson's cruise. I love what he was saying at the end. Like, he was so intense and a little more.
Yeah, I got to go back and watch that scene.
Like,
again.
I really felt like he came out a little more strong than he had been in the first season. He was much more relaxed and cool. And I think after his ordeal, he's now like a little more. It was pretty awesome, kind of sexy. Hey, what can I say?
Guy wears a suit, it's sexy. The guy asks, it's sexy. Is that
a lot of what Wilson Cruz does is sexy?
All right. All right, so going down my list of stuff I made a little bit of notes for. All right, the first and big thing I wanted to talk about was, if this was their plan all along, to have 2 seasons where we get to know the people, know the stories and everything, and then have them move and go somewhere else, then that's cool, and I like I like everything that happened. If after the first season they sat down and they said, listen, we're getting too much gruff from a lot of the core Trek people, and we're getting too much abuse about this not being canon, let's fix this for canon wise for everyone, and let's go and send Discovery somewhere where no one can beat us over the head with canon anymore. If they did that, then I'm really disappointed, because I'm disappointed that they went through so many hoops to try and please everyone, and that they couldn't just let us go with what we had, because they did a lot of stuff to clean up canon and in the last like 2 minutes of this special, the finale. So I really hope that it was something they had planned all along, kind of. And someone else did mention that in a way we got the serialized show that we were promised at the beginning, because if you remember when Discovery first came about, it was supposed to be a show about like one season told this story, another season told this story, another season told this one.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way we kind of ended up getting that, but with the same crew. Like it was supposed to be entirely different crews every time, and everything.
I remember that.
Yeah. So but that was the main thing there. My next thing was Yum Yum from Commander Bread, and that Naan, right? That's
I got
right?
it. I was there. This joke.
I was glad to see the Klingon Cleave ship again, because that thing's awesome.
What does it do?
Those things are awesome.
It cleaves.
It cleaves. It feels like they were bullied into making a change. Yeah, I think so as well, especially with how neat and clean everything's like all wrapped up now. And so I really don't want to hear the people that hated the show like taking their victory lap and being like, haha, we made them change. We always knew that they were terrible and stuff. I just don't want, because I'm a sweet person. I don't think it was planned. Their new showrunner said they didn't even know how they'd tie up season 2 when she joined midway through the season. Ooh, okay.
There was a definite shift, I feel like, from the beginning of the season, where it was like, here's a signal, we go and investigate the signal, this is what we learned, and then here's the next signal. Like the beginning of this season felt more like traditional Trek, because it was like new planet, new thing, like, and we liked that. Like it that callback was good, and then it did kind of shift midway through. The feeling of it did, as we were like, now we are finding Spock, and we're learning about what the heck went on with his brain, and why, did he really kill people? But what?
Oh, I wish I could rewind the tape. We find out about Spock and what was going on with his brain. Spock's brain. That was glorious.
Shut up.
And it was totally honest too.
Shut up.
Nothing that you.
Shut up.
No, it's nothing to be ashamed about. I would have been super impressed if you'd done that on purpose.
You know what? It probably was just ingrained in my subconscious, and that was why.
I loved it so much.
Anyway.
So in other words, the initial showrunners for this season might have had it be Gabriel. Wait, was the mom's name Gabriel?
The mom's name? Oh,
yeah.
Her name?
Yeah, Burnham's mom. I'm gonna go look that up.
I don't think so.
So they could have been like, it could have not been Michael. It had been the Red Angel, but like they might have.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, so here's my belief. Maybe we could just go back and say, I did do the brain thing on purpose. No, and honestly, it's one of those things where it probably.
You love you.
I hate you so much. My subconscious did the brain thing. We'll just say that. Nerds. Now I'm all upset. What was I gonna say? Oh, I don't get hung up too much in. Like, I didn't know all the things about, the new showrunner started midway and this and that, because I was enjoying it. Dr. Gabriel Burnham.
Yeah. I just went and looked. Yep.
No, because look, I don't worry too much about all the stuff because I enjoyed the show.
What are you protesting about now?
You're going to go and say something about Lorca.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like, things change hands, people have different input, but if the end result, archangels everywhere. Nice. There's archangels all up in this.
Yeah, that was a big thing that was talked about season 1. is that Michael and Gabriel and
Yeah.
archangels. Oh, choir boy, that's right.
The show was good. It kept its integrity, I think, throughout the entire 2 seasons so far. I think that as a character development vehicle, it's phenomenal. The actors are wonderful, and the characters are written very true to life. I feel like they respond to things, they react to things in a way that, even though they're on a show and time is sometimes compressed or expanded beyond, how you would really normally pace something in the real world, they still go through process. They still react, and then they process that reaction, and then they, go back and say, I'm sorry I said that, or this is like, I really, really enjoy that, and I enjoy the stories they're telling. So, are they trying to please a wider audience? Sure they are. That's the business they're in. Are they doing an excellent job? Yes. So if next season is going to have more of a original Star Trek feel, but they still have some great story to tell that takes a season to tell it, that's awesome. Then maybe they are going to please not everyone, because not everyone will ever be going to be haters. They're going to be people who are just chaotic, evil, and they're just, no, I don't like anything anymore, and just when they want it destroyed. Those people can just fly away. But I'm going to be here enjoying my show, enjoying my modern art.
Word. All right. All right. Somehow we got onto that topic from the Klingon Cleave ship. I don't know how that happened. Best acted Trek ever is first since Deep Space Nine prioritizes people over tech. Yeah, let me tell you, that whole series of Deep Space Nine, I was rooting for Odo and Kira. Whew. All right, next in my notes, I was so happy when I saw the motion picture wormhole effect.
Yes, I wanted to mention that. Man, as soon as they entered that wormhole and their faces started to elongate, I was like,
yes, we have seen this before. Look, more cannon, more cannon. Really looking forward to season 3.
Away. Sorry.
I actually have that written in my notes, like there was ever any doubt. Really looking forward to season 3.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
that's good. I'm glad you needed to write that down. You might have forgotten it.
To actually mention it, because of how different it can be. I mean, it can just be like,
yeah, that's what I really like, is that they tell stories that change just enough that the next season is going to be completely different. Because the first season they had this captain who ended up being a horrific traitor. So yeah, and it was based on this woman who really wasn't a horrific traitor, and that dynamic was fantastic. And then he's gone, and then the next season is like, well, what are they going to do now? And episode 1, hi, I'm your new captain.
Yeah, I kind of wish.
Ching. I'm Captain Pike.
Handsome Pike.
Handsome mount.
That was good.
Love it, Kevin.
I kind of wish that season 1 didn't even have the Klingon War in it, because it could have been good enough.
They needed something, a background that could justify them tolerating Lorca.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Starfleet would not have tolerated that type of captain if it wasn't for this war engine that was behind it.
Oh, that was one of the things I forgot before when we were talking, one of the many times that we all were just talking over each other. And oh my god, I lost it again.
Holy.
Oh, about when Cornwell talked about Pike not coming back after his 5-year mission when the war was out, and she was like, yeah, we kept you away because we knew that you wouldn't let us do the things that we needed to do.
Yeah.
And
we kept the heart again. Multiple people on the show and everyone out here, that he really was the heart of the Federation. That's how they built his character.
All right. Yeah. So after about an hour and a half of babbling there, I'm out of notes. Did you have anything we haven't covered yet, Kevin? If there's anything else that we haven't gotten to for you, but my dear, you get to go first. yeah, so I do want to see, because that quickly they need to cover how many people are still left on that ship in season 3.
I'm sure that, the episode 1, it'll be like, okay, so now we're in the beta quadrant
Oh, I mean, Kevin said.
Oh, sorry. But I mean, those are some seriously awesome blast doors. Why don't they make the whole ship out of those blast doors? That's something you usually ask.
Because it is a thing in structural design that but I mean, there's no way those blast doors should have been fucking see-through. That
transparent aluminum.
No. It could have been like a super bulkhead thing that came down and closed, and twice as thick as it was. And someone pointed out that they probably used the same stuff, polarized hull plating, as what was on the original Enterprise, and also was like on the Defiant. And like those things are built to explode out in certain directions.
Yeah.
And
I understand. It's just like our cars are designed to crumple in the right way. Like you design it to fail the way you want it to, so that it's predictable and not chaotic.
And as far as deaths go, she had a good one. She didn't go out.
She did. She turned around. Pike didn't even flinch.
Yeah.
Well, Pike was very sad and wanted to watch to the end. But I mean, yeah, she turned around, put her hands behind her back in what I guess is the Starfleet salute, and went out like a real woman. I very much liked her character.
She went out visually that way, but running through her head was like, why didn't we build those fucking doors with 2 handles, one on each side, so we could close that fucker from the outside?
Yeah, but they kept talking, and they talked multiple times about how dropping the shield to beam people out was
No. She was in the ship, so they wouldn't have needed to drop shields to beam her out.
Okay.
But
that's
what I can
makes
say.
Sense.
What I can say is that I can't remember the source of this, but in TOS time, they didn't do a lot of
intership
inside the ship. Right. The only one we saw doing this was Lorca. But and he beamed the tardigrade and himself around inside the ship, but standard Starfleet stuff, so that's probably not even like really thought of. Although you would think that in an emergency situation, it's like, well, either I'm going to get blown up by a photon torpedo 1.5 inches in my ass, or I'm going to get my molecules spread around and materialize inside a bulkhead. And we know these bulkheads are sturdy, so they could take me. As long as it's not inside one that's like see-through, so you could just see all my innards. That would be gross. But then you'd know when something's wrong.
Okay.
Doc, I'm here for a checkup. All right. Your heart looks good.
I think stop. I think that there are definitely going to be inconsistencies, and that like her having to die that way felt very what's the word? Contrived, yeah. It felt very contrived. Like here we have this photon torpedo that didn't explode. There's no way to stop it. The bulkhead only closes from the inside. Like, come on, man. Like,
I mean, she didn't even try and push it back out.
Let's just get her.
Yeah, I mean,
get on the other side of this.
Let's do it. Those not R2D2 droids could have sucked it out.
The not R2D2 droids was ridiculous.
I'm like, what are these things? Why is Wall-E on the Enterprise?
Yes, and it's like, look, I understand. It makes perfect sense, but this is Star Trek, and you didn't do it the first time, so you don't get them now. Like, you don't just get droids.
Yeah.
That's a Star Wars thing.
Well, we do have droids on the Discovery from Jet Reno.
I understand.
Jet Reno, Private Eye.
Reno. So is she just gonna be in the 3rd season? I mean, she was pretty cool. I did like her snark,
and she was hardly in anything.
Yeah, well, I mean, she was on the show as
she can hop in for 2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah, I guess so.
She could have died going through the wormhole. Anything could happen.
Her heart just gave out. It like stretched out behind her, and she was gone.
Her heart just gave out. She's Padme from Star Wars.
Yeah, she lost the will to live. The wormhole just took her right
Seeing
out
her
of
children, she lost the will to live. Wait, there's accuracy to that now.
I understand. Padme. I feel you.
Yeah.
I love my children.
There's no Molly, let me tell you. She's at the dark side.
So yes, what were we talking about?
I don't know. Cornwell and being sad and not beaming her
that's
out.
right, because you said Cornwell. And she went out.
And it was the Discovery that couldn't drop their shields to beam something, because you saw when they dropped the shields for a couple seconds to let the
well, I mean, there were no other control agents to beam in. But it was the fact that if they dropped them even for a second, that they would basically be barraged and they wouldn't be able to.
Yeah. And I can't tell you the number of people that complained that with Leland on the Discovery, why were the 31 ships still firing? Because it would have destroyed him too. It's like, no, they were shooting it to disable it and keep it from going through. I'm like, come on, people. But yeah, so there are a lot of things that people can complain about, but I'm good at.
But I still enjoy it.
Oh yeah, I definitely
complain
enjoyed
away
it after a little bit. But just as much as I can find things wrong with things, I also am able to find explanations for said things, and all that's why I never became a writer, despite my desire to. Man, she tried to keep that yawn inside. Didn't you see it? All right, on that fourth yawn note, we are going to wrap it up for tonight. Like my brother said, we will definitely be back. We're not sure when with Star Trek talk. But we'll probably do something semi shortly once info about the Picard show starts coming out. We do a Sunday Game of Thrones pre-show,
as you can see on the sign behind his head.
Yeah, well, it's okay.
Updating that whiteboard.
I've got all different kind of shit back there. There's Ed Wood too. We haven't done a stream about Ed Wood yet.
Yeah, but we did draw Ed Wood.
There's snakes on a plane. Yeah, so on Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern, we do a show where we go over our favorite parts of the previous week. And we talk about the things that are going to happen. This week is just going to be all talk about death, because there's going to be a lot of death. And coming up May 10th, restarts Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And we are going to be doing shows about that. I don't know if we're going to get instant reactions or not from that one, but we'll be talking about that. Something happens in 2 days. I'm not really sure what that is. Tomorrow night, I'm probably going to go on and just babble about Marvel for a little while.
It's gonna be marvelous.
I was gonna let that silence go for as long as it could be. All right, cool.
Awesome.
See you,
Hopefully
Kevin.
we'll see you Sunday then.
All right. Do it. Give us your goodbye.